There's more to imagine when you listen. So let your imagination soar with Audible. Audible has audio titles from every genre that will inspire you to imagine new worlds, possibilities, and ways of thinking. As an Audible member, you get to choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog. Enjoy an exciting reawakening of a beloved classic with the Audible original, David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. Produced by Academy Award-winning director Sam Mendes. Starring Ncuti Gatwa, Helena Bonham Carter, and Theo James. This adaptation breathes new life into a familiar tale. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500. That's audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
Welcome to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine, the show that teaches you how to survive the things that can kill you.
Like your school board meeting.
Ugh.
Or when the air isn't safe to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
How about when your parachute won't open?
Ay, ay, ay. And the things that just make you wish you were dead.
Like a toilet full of rats?
Ugh.
Sorry, Danielle. Showering at your old school. Or New York in the 80s. Brings things back, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Oh, boy.
Those toilet rat days.
Speaking of toilet rat days,
Yes.
let's play the theme song.
Whoop.
Ground is shaking under our feet, mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Gobbling down Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive. How to survive. How to survive.
Welcome to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine. IRL.
Yeah, you get to hear it twice.
I've now said it 3 times. I'm gonna. Oh, that. Yeah. I thought you meant me saying IRL. I've said it 3 times now, and I think I gotta stop because it's horrible.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's horrible.
I love your new bangs.
I don't have bangs.
Oh, you said it in the voice of like, I wouldn't say it's horrible.
Oh, got it. Yes. Oh my gosh. You know what? We do need to start later.
Wait, we're starting later than we normally do.
Even later.
Later. Okay, later.
You know what?
Later.
I didn't have much coffee. So,
Oh, okay.
And I thought I was going to have time, but it didn't work out, and here we are. So water it is.
Water it is.
Just regular old water. I'm like living like you today without coffee.
Yeah, no caffeine.
You look cute.
Thanks, so do you. We're both wearing our collared sweater preppy look.
Little collars. Mm-hmm. Where's your collar?
Yeah.
Oh, it's white, because I do white collar work. I don't even know what that means.
Oy, oy, oy.
Honestly.
Did someone get him a coffee?
Yeah, let me just check.
Oh, he's drinking Celsius.
I know, it's
So gross.
Oh, I can feel the comedy.
Oh, you can feel it?
Is that what Celsius is good for?
Yeah, it brings the
I'm
comedy.
not sure.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
sure. Ooh, I want to say, because we are going to go on a break, but it's not
Yeah.
going to be a break really to our audience.
Right.
But we are all going to go on a break.
Right.
I want to say Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
To to those who celebrate.
Yes.
Guys, I don't want it to sound like a competition, even though kind of it is, to say who's being best at Pride.
Oh.
But I did go see Rufus Wainwright live, which I think
Is he gay?
he's the gayest.
Oh,
and
okay.
that is maybe the gayest thing you can do during Pride.
It probably is. I mean, he has a Judy Garland cover album. So
Wait
I'm
a second.
pretty sure.
I'm sorry. Remind me who he is. It's one of those people I know the name.
He
but I
sings like Cigarettes and Chocolate Milk. He sings, do you know that song Baby? He covered Hallelujah, I think, for the Shrek Is he
Yes.
the one?
Oh, okay.
I can't believe you don't know who he is because
I
he's
know
so theatrical.
Yeah.
His sister had a big song out years
She
ago.
did?
Martha Wainwright, isn't that his sister?
She did backup at the show.
I mean, I
She also
definitely
had a
know his
single.
name. I just don't know who he is.
You would love seeing him
Oh, okay.
live. He's so theatrical, and his voice.
Fun.
He's written an Italian opera.
Oh my God.
He sings real. He has an amazing voice. His entire band was in. They were all in caftans and socks, and he's
Okay.
very funny, and
Is he British?
he's not, but he could be.
Okay, that
He
name is
comes from a
just-
big musical family, and he's from the folk tradition, and he has a lot of folk in his repartee. He had a lot of surprise guests come out. Shaka Khan came out.
Oh my God.
Andrew Bird came out, and they did a Neil Young song, which was beautiful.
I don't know Andrew Bird.
Oh, I love Andrew Bird. Weirdly, he was in a season of Fargo, and I was like, "You act
who was
too?"
he in? I've seen all the seasons
He
of
was
Fargo.
the husband in the season, I think, that I didn't end up watching because it was the Chris Rock one.
Oh,
And
okay.
I just wasn't as interested because
So
I don't
he
like
was-
mafia stuff. He's white, and he was married to a black woman in that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So his music's wonderful.
Okay, great.
If you ever want to just put it in your Spotify and listen to Andrew Bird, some of it's a little bit wacky and experimental sounding, and some of it's very, standard. Not standard.
I wonder if I would like a Neil Young song if Neil Young wasn't singing it.
Oh my God, I love Neil Young so much.
I cannot stand his voice.
Oh, I love
I
it.
cannot stand it.
God, I love Harvest Moon. I think it's one of the best albums ever made.
I know I'm in the minority.
That's okay. I don't like Bob Dylan.
I don't have any
And
feelings
I
about
think
Bob
I think
Dylan.
I think he's a great songwriter, but I don't really want to listen to him sing.
Yeah.
So I get
But
I get it.
Crosby, Stills, Nash, and I guess Young,
Me too.
because they're harmonizing and you don't hear just Neil Young's voice by itself. But by itself, it just makes me want to crawl up a wall.
I get why you would say
Yeah.
that, because I think it's one of those voices that's not traditionally nice
Good.
on the
Yeah.
ears, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah, no, lots of people
Lots
do.
of people do. Anyway, so the gauntlet has been thrown down. Beat me for being better at
Okay.
Pride. Garen, I think the gayest thing you could do is have gay sex.
Yeah. Did you have gay sex this month yet?
Not this month yet.
Okay, are you planning to?
Fingers crossed.
Okay. But I mean, is there something on the horizon?
I've got there. I don't know.
Well, you
We'll
have
see.
to
People
if you want to beat
bizarre.
me. And Danielle, you've got to beat seeing Rufus Wainwright live.
I've watched every season of British Bake Off, and
no, I
the
don't think
gayest
that's gay
one here.
enough. What's that?
I might be the gayest one here. I'm watching Mary Tyler Moore.
You're racking those points.
I will say this: even as a child, I thought. I'm saying, as a child, being home sick from school and watching
Yes.
Mary Tyler Moore, I thought Murray is gay. There is no way Murray is not gay. So
Which one's Murray? I'm sorry.
the one in the office with her, who's not Lou and not
Okay. Yeah.
not Ted Baxter.
Probably.
Well, he's not. He has a wife and children on the show. But I said to
That's how it was to be gay, though, back
I
then.
know, but I don't think you're supposed to think he's gay. I just think I think he's actually the weakest part of the show. I don't think he's a great actor, Captain Stooping. But when I said to Oliver, as a kid, I always thought Murray was gay. And he goes, he's not? Because we hadn't met his family yet.
Yeah.
I was like, no. And he was like, oh. Like, he thought so too. But what's his face gay?
The actor or
Yeah.
the character?
I
The
don't
actor.
think the actor was.
Gavin McLeod. I don't think he was
but
either.
I think he really was gay.
You think it was...
It was.
Meant to read as gay?
I think so.
Do you think that was on purpose? Because, I mean, there were a lot of still gay in show business. There were a lot of, gay writers and gay
Yeah.
producers and gay actors, and that was the safest place to be gay. But many of them still weren't out.
But they could have made him single and just not into Mary or something. But they didn't. So there's nothing really alluding to that he's gay. Like, except that
his behavior seemed gay, or
his acting, he just seems very effeminate.
Okay.
It's nothing written in it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's just what he
the
brings to
outward
it.
appearance. But there are
Yeah.
also effeminate straight men.
Yeah.
Also,
Not
they
then.
were afraid to do gay stuff on that show. Like, Rhoda dated a gay guy, and it was the first time
really?
they ever said gay on in television.
I didn't know
Mary
that.
Tyler Moore.
Oh, I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know why I guess it's different to reference a guest actor than it is an actual main actor.
And also there's like a man of the week every week. Like Mary seems to fall in love and then you never see that person again. It's really sad. It's not sad. It's just weird.
Yeah, I just wonder.
But I never thought he was gay on Love Boat. I mean, it's the same actor and he's got the same, but I never thought Captain Stubing was gay, but I always thought Marie was gay.
I don't think I realized until just now they were the same person.
When I realized it as a child, I was like, my mind went...
My mind is doing that right now.
Because
holy shit.
I was like, I don't even though I loved Love Boat, I knew it was terrible. And I was like, I don't understand. How did this actor go from one of the best sitcoms of all time to The Love Boat? Like, I didn't understand how it worked.
How'd it work?
Yeah. It's
a good gig.
He got more years on The Love Boat probably than on Mary Tyler Moore. So, and he was the lead. But anyway.
I love that you knew that Love Boat was terrible.
I knew.
I didn't.
I think I knew. Yeah.
I didn't know.
But I thought it was trash that it was enjoyable.
I didn't know. When I was little, I didn't know if things were bad or not. I just knew what I liked.
Yeah.
That didn't develop until... It's still developing. But sometimes I still need you to tell me.
I'm here to point out everything that's terrible.
I'll
think of how I'm contributing to Pride in a second. I'll try to figure something out.
You know what? I think you're doing good work right now.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I brought in some gay guests. That's all. Couple in a row.
That matters. You know, we want to bring in and represent. That's important.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's get into it.
So I have no segue.
Okay.
For that. So let's just get into how to survive a parachute rip. First, I'm going to get into some fun, weird historical facts about parachuting.
Love it.
That I don't think you guys know. All right.
Sure I don't.
I'm going to tell you this guy, André Jacques Gagnon. He was the first.
Chinese?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In the 1700s, he was a French balloonist and he invented the frameless parachute. So.
Oh, okay.
He started experimenting with the early parachutes with an umbrella-shaped device, and he carried it onto like a hot air balloon. Or he was actually not exactly. I'm getting it a little bit wrong. So he made this frameless device, and he had it on, with a gondola. So he's in a little basket. The first one was silk. And in 1797, in Monsieur, I'm totally butchering that, Paris, he had it attached to a balloon, like a kind of a hot air balloon thing. And then when he got up 500 feet, he snipped the rope that he's attached to the balloon and comes down in his...
So he jumps out of the balloon.
No, I'm not explaining it well. I'm sorry, I'm going to try again. So imagine he's in a little basket.
Yeah.
His basket has a string, rope tied to his umbrella-shaped silk parachute.
Okay.
There's another rope tied to the balloon.
Right.
He goes up high, and then at whatever feet, 500 feet, he cuts the rope attached to the balloon.
To the hot air balloon.
And
Got
then
it.
floats down.
Got it. Wow.
So here's the stuff that I think is interesting about him. He announces in 1798 that his next flight would include a woman as a passenger.
Whoa.
And the public and the press are like, what? A woman? No, it can't be done. But the officials of the Central Bureau of Police are like, you need to appear in front of us. We are really concerned that this reduced air pressure might affect the organs of the delicate female body. And what if she faints?
Is that so terrible? If someone faints?
A woman fainting?
Oh my God.
Danielle.
They fainted all the time because of the clothes they were put in. Like that was a common occurrance.
It was because of their delicate organs.
Oh.
It wasn't
being smushed with whale bone.
We can get you at 17-inch waist.
Yeah.
Plus the moral implications of flying in such close proximity.
Okay, well that I understand.
Exactly.
Sure.
So the police issued an injunction against him, and they were like,
whoa,
sorry, nah. Okay, so he goes, all right, I need to talk to the Minister of the Interior, the Minister of the Police. They overturn the injunction because he's like, this is no more scandalous than seeing me and her get into a carriage. That would be okay.
It's just a mode of transportation.
Carriage in the sky.
Sure.
So they do it. Everything goes fine. And he continues to do some of these. It goes higher and higher, in his little parachute.
And he just snips and loses that he must have been very wealthy. He's just snipping parachutes left and right.
The French.
I mean, not parachutes, hot air balloon things.
Yes, he's snipping off of these, and he changes to canvas. He goes higher and higher. Guys, I'm going to tell you how he died. You'll never guess. On August 18th, on 18 August 1823, at the age of 54, Garnier was working on the construction of a new balloon. While walking around the construction site, he was struck by a falling beam, which killed him instantly.
No. He didn't even die in the sky.
No.
Oh, shit.
I had to share it because I am always struck, pardon the pun, when someone dies in such a stupid way. When you know when that, if he didn't even see the beam coming down, but I just feel like he would have been like, God damn it.
I swear I was going to die in falling to the ground.
What a dumb way to die.
I like that you told that like it was a drunk history. That was great.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't know that show.
You don't know Drunk History?
I mean, I've heard of it, but I never watched it.
Oh, it's so funny. It's really good. I mean, not, some episodes are better than other, but the premise is they get a comedian or a comedic actor to study up on one thing.
Yes.
Very much it could be the beginning of, parachutes.
Yes.
And they get really drunk.
Oh.
And then over the course of the evening, they tell the story.
Yes.
As they're super drunk with the host, Derek Waters. And then they show what's happened with actors. They have full sets and everything, and they do it, but they mouth the words of what the guy is saying.
That's funny.
What the speaker is saying.
Yes.
So you've seen it, right? Mm-hmm. So am I explaining it well? Yeah. So they're not really talking, but they're mouthing the words of, and then he said, I can't believe that beam's coming. And then, they would mouth those words.
Oh, that's
It's
such a good
really
idea.
well done. Yeah.
Well, I am drunk, so that tracks.
Okay, good.
Not drunk enough.
Right?
Would you like to know how dangerous skydiving is?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, because I have some data.
Okay.
It's popular. A lot of people like to skydive. The data is limited. However, I found a study that evaluated the injuries and fatalities. The most common injury sustained by recreational skydivers involves the lumbar spine and lower extremities. The injuries most commonly reported, obviously it's during the landing. It's not like, you're getting caught in the ropes or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Fatalities occur in less than 1 per 100,000 cases. So less than one person dies. It's like a half death.
Okay.
You have a half death. So there's a half alive person
I don't understand how you came to that.
per 100,000.
But why is it half? Is that what it said?
It's less than 100,000. It's less.
than one person.
One person.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Serious injuries requiring hospitalization in less than 2.
Okay.
So one person doesn't require one person goes to the hospital, another person is like, I got hurt, I'm not going.
Right.
They probably don't have good insurance. You are more likely to die from, here we go, I love these.
Yeah.
Lightning strike.
Okay.
Dog bite.
Oh my God.
That might happen to me over the weekend.
It absolutely might.
Wasp sting. Bike accident. Choking or motor vehicle crash.
Wow.
Here's a thought experiment. Pick which way you want to die.
What if you're eating on something and then you jump out the airplane and so you choke midair?
Ooh.
And then when you land on a bicyclist and you're choking. And so you kill the bicyclist and yourself. Then you get all 3.
I mean, that sounds better than the beam falling. At least you have a good story.
Yeah.
Your ancestors have a good story to tell about you.
Right.
I want to provide them with a good story.
Right.
However,
if you had to pick something to choke on to die, what would it be?
Brie.
So fast.
I love Brie. Oh my God, I fucking love Brie. That's so pretentious, but it's so good.
Garen, it's Pride Month. Cock?
I'll of course, certainly.
Choke on it?
I am interested in this wasp sting. Wasp sting.
Wasp sting?
Is that like a rich white person insulting you? Is that what
That's
is?
it.
Oh, that hurt when you
laid.
made fun of my purse.
Yeah, that comedy isn't that Celsius. I like Brie too. And when it's baked.
I just like it, with a really good crusty Italian bread.
Oh my God! Now I want brie.
Ooh.
I don't think I've ever had brie.
What?
Oh my God, we're bringing it to the next bonus
Wait a second, are you kidding?
I don't think I've ever had brie.
Shit.
I am a hillbilly.
Yeah, but you live
My
in Los
cheese
Angeles.
comes in a bag.
You haven't. Cheese comes in a bag. What kind of cheese? Oh, you're
mean
buying
like shredded cheese?
That has wood pulp in it
Well,
Why? Shredded cheese
to keep
has-
it from molding.
Oh shit!
is
Yeah.
that true?
Yeah,
Even if it's organic?
yeah.
Well, I don't think wood pulp can hurt you.
It's organic wood pulp though.
That's all right. I'll live with
Nutrients
it.
in there.
All right.
Buzz can
So
live off of
next
it.
bonus episode. I don't know who our guest is.
Yeah,
I'm
we will
bringing
bring
a brie
with crackers.
and I'm bringing
The what do you eat it with? The not jelly, but like
like a jam, some kind
yes,
of jam.
like the fig jam.
Oh yeah, some good pear, and it's
yeah.
gonna be whole charcuterie.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it up.
Let's do it.
So all right, so we've all figured out how we're gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick. Let's see: dog bite, wasp sting, bike accident, choking, motor vehicle crash, lightning strike. I think wasp sting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you get bitten and then your throat closes up. It's quick. I don't
I don't know
know.
how quick it is. Okay.
Okay.
I think it's that quick.
So, according to WikiHow, one of the first fears of people who consider going skydiving is the fear of their parachute malfunctioning.
Of course.
But I'm like, first fear. Isn't this the only
Yeah.
only fear?
Well,
Like,
maybe
what are the others?
Maybe you have a fear of getting tangled up.
Okay.
Or it I don't know. Or it ripping.
You're right.
But yes, of course, that's your fears that it wouldn't open.
Okay, don't panic.
Okay.
Says Ron Bell, or as we like to say, remain calm. He's from the United States Parachute Association, USPA for short. A main parachute malfunction, on average, happens about 1 in 1,000 jumps, which to me seems high.
That does seem actually really high.
1 in 1,000. Fortunately, though, you can use your reserve parachute
Right.
to land on your feet unharmed.
But you have to be thinking.
Uh-huh.
Okay, here's my question, and maybe you're going to get to this. If you tandem jump,
Right?
you both have chutes, right?
No.
I think
No,
just they
only he has a chute.
only
Yeah,
he or
because
she.
you're strapped to them.
Oh, okay, all right.
Like you're on their.
Well, that's the only way I would do it. I
I
think.
love my story.
Oh, okay.
My
Sorry.
story's going to be
Right up.
It's not monkey ripping the balls off of a man.
Chimpanzee.
Oh God, I said monkey. Sorry. Pretend we edited that out. It's not chimpanzee ripping the nuts off of an old man, but it's good. All skydivers are equipped with a reserve chute. Unlike the main, which may be packed by an experienced diver, aka any old loser, a reserve chute can be packed only by an FAA certified operator.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So the skill level is higher.
Okay.
This extra precaution ensures that the parachute will be properly positioned. As Bell, he's the guy I mentioned earlier, likes to remind new skydivers, the reserve chute is there for a reason. If you feel unsafe, don't be afraid to pull the ripcord.
Okay.
So if anything feels weird and you're like, I don't know what's
You
going
know
on.
what? Wait, that's a good point because maybe you don't even know if it's opened because you can't see behind you, and if you don't know the sensation.
Yeah, something feels weird. He says, listen to this.
Wow.
You're going to like this, guys.
Okay.
Because it's Pride Month. When in doubt, whip it out.
Love it.
Although it doesn't track sexually, because I would say when in doubt, don't whip it out, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a
Do the
Me Too
Yeah.
statistic.
So, okay.
When in doubt, whip it out.
All right. I was going to ask a question about. I know. When you pull the cord, the initial cord, you do feel like a jerk, right?
I think so,
bit.
because
So you would
when you
know.
see video, it looks like people kind of
go straight up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is even better. This is like, okay. I mean, I don't ever want to skydive, but if I was forced into it, like I'm on a plane and it's hijacked and somebody has a gun to my head, this makes me feel better.
Right.
Even if you're knocked unconscious, your odds of surviving a parachuting accident are pretty good.
Okay.
Modern rigs are usually outfitted with an automatic activation device, or AAD. They love their acronyms in skydiving, man. which uses computerized sensors to monitor the diver's speed and altitude. So if you get to 1,000 feet above ground and you're at a speed of 78 miles per hour or faster, the AED automatically deploys the backup parachute.
Oh,
so
okay.
it senses, it's like, wait, why is this person...
So even if you don't pull the cord for the backup, it will automatically deploy.
If you're, so you want to check which company you're going with, and you can ask, if you're going to skydive, you can say, does this have an AAD device?
I like it.
If your reserve also fails, there are even tactics that you can use to improve your chances of surviving a free fall to Earth.
Oh, God.
All right. Are you guys ready? This is when we're getting into it. Mm-hmm. When it's, the
shits.
The shits have hits.
Yeah.
Isn't that the saying? The shits have hits?
Let me put that on our list of merch.
Okay. The shits have hits. Okay. Get in the breakaway position. If your main parachute is malfunctioning or has become tangled, it's important that you can break away from it before deploying your reserve. So they're going to talk a little bit still about this as if it's going to happen. Or else the reserve parachute may become tangled.
Wait, say that again?
Okay, so your main parachute's malfunctioning.
Yeah.
Or it's tangled. You want to break away from it before deploying your reserve.
How?
I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
To get in the breakaway position, spread your legs to reduce your velocity.
Right.
And keep your head up with your back arched.
Yeah, I did one of those, mall things once where you...
Oh, you did?
Yeah, where you
like
pretend
Sky Zone
to...
or...
Yeah.
Okay.
Not Sky Zone, but you pretend to parachute.
Yes.
And that's the position they have you do. It's harder than it looks. At least for me it was.
It sounds like it'd be really loud. It seems like it'd be really loud.
I think you have like headphones on.
Was it fun?
I'm trying to remember. I think it was fun, but it was a little frustrating that I couldn't get in the right position.
Okay.
But yeah, it was fun.
When they say arched back, this is what I was confused about. Do they mean like if you're in cat-cow, is it
arched is
rounding
like,
your spine? Or,
no,
okay,
arched
so
is
boobs forward.
Your boobs forward, except in this case it would be boobs to the ground.
Okay. So being in the wrong position could get you entangled in your main chute. You must break away at a minimum of 1,600 feet to allow you enough time to fully deploy your reserve, as if you know how many feet away you're from the Earth. Okay. Don't try to remember that. That's silly. Look and reach for the breakaway handle. Make sure you take the time to look down at the lever that you're pulling.
Okay.
The release is typically found on the right-hand side, but you should talk to your skydiving instructor before you jump. Grab onto the handle with both hands and prepare to pull. The breakaway handle will look like a cloth loop on the strap of your parachute pack.
Okay.
Okay, so like they should have this really easy. I mean, obviously they better not have a bunch of pulls where you're like, okay, this one
blows you to smithereens.
This is a bomb.
Yeah.
This one is the pudding.
Right. Yeah.
Your
pudding fountain
snack,
comes out.
in case you want.
Yeah.
Pudding fountain.
Yeah. This one is sparklers.
Yeah. Confetti for celebrating.
I think it's a cord for the main one and that little loopy-doop for the other one.
I think you're right. And I hope
so.
But I still would get confused. I know I would.
Oh, God.
Pull the breakaway handle while looking at your reserve handle. Once you pull the breakaway handle, throw it away.
Wait, what's the difference between
now we're fucking littering.
Oh, the breakaway. Okay, got it. So you're getting rid of the first.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Keep your eyes on the reserve handle. When falling at incredible speeds in a high-stress situation, you are more prone to become nervous or confused. Oh, really?
I honestly can't think of anything scarier than this. I really can't.
No. Being in a shark's mouth? Being swallowed by a hippo, maybe. But, I think I'd prefer those two situations over this one. Falling freely from the sky.
But you know what it is? It's that the control is in your hands, which would calm most people, but that makes me more nervous.
Having the control.
Yes, that it's up to me.
You have to be
I have to have my wits about me. And
you're the full adult here.
Ugh.
You're the only adult in the room.
In the sky room.
In the sky room.
Right.
Keep your concentration on the thing you must do next. Jesus
Okay.
Christ. The breakaway handle will release your main parachute so that your reserve does not become entangled.
Got it.
It really seems scary to have to let go of the main parachute,
Yes.
even if it's fucked up. The idea that you're going to go, well, I'm going to let you go. Okay. You do not have to pull the breakaway handle if your main parachute did not deploy. Just pull your reserve ripcord.
Wait, say it again.
You do not have to pull the breakaway handle if your main
if it
parachute
just never
did not deploy.
Okay. It
just pull your reserve ripcord.
Got it.
Just let it rip.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So with both hands, pull the reserve ripcord and deploy your secondary chute.
That might be the end of it for me. If I pull that lever and nothing happens,
You're just gonna be like,
You're just gonna.
I'm gonna fall.
I think
You're gonna Wile E. Coyote
I don't know if I would even. I would panic to the point where I would forget probably that you have a secondary.
I bet you they drill it into you 100 times.
They do.
They have to.
I feel like though there's a good chance I could pass out from fear.
That too,
right?
I would only do this tandem. There's no other way. With a professional instructor.
Here comes the story that
Okay, got it. Right. Okay.
Use the steering cables to get into the landing position. Look up to make sure that your reserve has successfully deployed and prepare to land. You'll have less time to prepare for your landing, so execution is crucial. So you're going to assume the landing position. Point your feet to the ground with your heels up and try to absorb the shock from landing with your legs. Use the steering cables to your left and right to guide you.
Oh, you can steer yourself. Oh, that's cool.
Now, doesn't it sound fun now?
Yeah, it does.
Now you want to do it.
Can you just be jump out from like 100 feet?
I'll look into that for you. Find a suitable place to land, like an empty field. Oh, here's a good tip. Avoid cliffs or other dangerous objects like power lines.
Or porcupines or cactuses. Or rhinoceroses looking up.
Oh my God. Okay. Are you ready to find out what happens when both don't open? Number 1, remain calm. Okay.
Does this happen?
Okay. It's natural to think the worst and prepare for death, which we know is what Garen's going to do. First, regulate your breathing and clear your mind as you're falling. Clear your mind. Like, guess what? I can't do that when I'm sitting cross-legged on my floor listening to fucking like the Calm app in the most serene of circumstances.
Yeah.
Do you think I can do that when I'm falling from the sky?
I've never once cleared my mind in a yoga class. Never once.
Has anyone ever cleared their mind?
I don't know.
Inhale deeply through your nose and out of your mouth. That's what they're saying to do. And then we're going to line our chakras.
Right.
Okay. Spread out your body in an X. Emulate the skydiver pose and try to get as flat as possible horizontally to reduce your speed. I think we did talk about this a little bit when we had a falling episode way back.
Oh, yeah.
But this is very good to remind us
Right.
because everyone's about to go skydiving after they listen to this episode. The front of your body should be facing the ground and your arms should be raised above your head. God, I wish we were being filmed right now because I'm saving people's lives.
I know.
So that you achieve the most drag that you can in your situation. Arch your head and back upward. Okay. Aim for marshy, wooded, or snowy areas.
Aim.
Yeah. You're going to, you can steer yourself.
You can?
I'm going to tell you how to do it. You'll remember all this.
All right.
Oh, just think about how fast you're falling.
Yeah.
Tree branches or snow can help absorb your impact and slow your descent before you make contact with the hard ground.
You're aiming for a tree.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Avoid hard objects like concrete, buildings.
Where are you dropping from?
Maybe you're going to go towards a city.
Okay.
Aim for hilly areas. Wait, not cliffs, but hilly areas.
Yeah.
Okay. Steer left or right by lowering your elbow and leaning into the direction that you want to turn.
No way.
That's what it says.
Okay.
You know what I think? They go, we just say this so people feel like they have control as they're plummeting to death. To move backward, bend your knees and push your arms forward. To move forward, straighten your legs and put your arms to your sides.
Who is going to remember this?
No one.
Okay.
No one. I forgot it and I just said it. Get into the skydiver's landing stance. As you approach the ground, you want to adjust yourself so that you land on your feet.
Seems like you wouldn't want to land on your feet because you'd break your legs.
Yeah, but you're protecting your vital organs,
right.
supposedly.
Supposedly.
One of those. They're both words. We already looked this up.
No, unacceptable.
I don't care. That's true. Put your feet together with your heels up, just like Dorothy, and pointed toward the ground. Flex both your knees and hips to prepare for your pelvis to be shattered. hands to your sides if you must land in a body of water. If you are free falling, this is a time when, not like the chimps, you do not want to be in the water. Oh. If you are free falling over a body of water and can't aim towards a marshy or wooded area, you must tighten your body and fall feet first. It seems counterintuitive to tighten your body.
Yes, because the velocity would be greater and you'd go way deep into the ocean. If you're like a pencil.
Yeah.
If you're tightening your body,
yeah,
you're going to go in faster.
Because you don't want it to
harder.
You don't want it to hit like concrete because water becomes concrete if it's too high up.
Water becomes concrete?
Water becomes concrete.
Okay. Put that on your shirt. Water becomes concrete.
It's flying off the shelves. Fall straight with your hands to your sides and your feet close together. Land on your feet. We said that. That. Okay. Protect your head and roll if you can. That's a lot of information. That's how you survive.
Okay.
Have fun skydiving. Are you guys ready for a story?
More than ready.
Whew, guys, get ready. Okay. I'm going to cut some of this out because it's really long. It's from Cosmopolitan, and it's called...
How to Parachute with Fashion?
Parachute pants are coming back in 2023. The Girl Who Fell from the Sky. How I Survived a Skydiving Accident. I would encourage everyone to go to read this entire thing because I'm going to cut some parts out, and there won't be a newsletter right now. So
wait, what did you say it was from? What magazine?
Cosmopolitan.
Okay, I've heard of it.
How I Fell from the Sky. Hi. This is in her voice. Emma Carey is her name, and she is from Australia. I was so excited. I'm not going to do the Australian accent.
Don't do it if you don't want.
It's going to be insufferable from me. I was so excited when I set off from my home in Canberra, Australia, to go on a 3-month trip around Europe with a friend. I had planned all sort of bucket list worthy things, including doing a skydive over the Alps in Switzerland.
Whoa.
I'd always wanted to do it in that exact spot, so I couldn't wait to get up there. I'm an adrenaline junkie, so I wasn't nervous at all. I went first, diving out of the plane with an instructor strapped to my back, and it was exhilarating. We fell fast, but because I'd never done it before... I couldn't tell anything was wrong at first. After a while, I noticed the parachute hadn't opened up. So I asked my instructor what was going on. I got no answer, but the wind was loud, so I assumed he couldn't hear me. We kept falling, plunging straight down at high speed, and there was still no sign of the parachute. Why isn't he answering me? I thought. When I turned around to look at my instructor, I realized it had all gone terribly wrong. As it turned out, both the normal parachute and the emergency one had come out of the backpack at the same time and had become tangled. One of the cords had wrapped around my instructor's neck and strangled him unconscious. I panicked. He obviously couldn't untangle the parachutes, and I couldn't do anything to save us. So we just kept falling really fast.
God.
Excuse me. I was certain we were about to die. We were going so fast. How could it be possible to survive something like that? It seems obvious, but all that was going through my head was, I really don't want to die. Until that moment, I'd never really appreciated my life. I had just taken it for granted. We continued plummeting, and it felt like forever. We were dropping at speed, but I had so much time to think.
Oh, my God.
And then we landed. I hit the floor first. I think she means ground, because it wasn't inside.
She just like Batman, just went through a skylight and landed into a warehouse.
Bed Bath & Beyond. I hit the floor first with my instructor still strapped to my back, and all I could feel at first was shock. I'd survived. How had I survived? I felt such gratitude to still be alive. We'd landed in the middle of a field just meters from a concrete road.
Oh.
The paramedics later told me if we'd landed on the road, we'd both definitely have been killed. My mouth was full of blood, and my whole body was in the most intense pain I'd ever felt. But I knew I had to try to get help. The instructor was still on my back, and I thought he was dead.
Yeah,
though
I would have
somehow
too.
he survived too.
Okay.
So I tried to roll over to get him off of me. That was how I discovered I couldn't move anything from my stomach down.
Oh, no.
Not my legs, not my toes, not my abs. I couldn't even roll over. I couldn't move anything, and I couldn't feel anything, and it was the most devastating realization. A minute ago, I had been totally fine. Now I was paralyzed and probably wouldn't ever be able to walk again. It was horrible. I remember feeling in that moment like I just wished I had died in the accident.
Oh.
A short while later, the friend who jumped after me landed with her instructor. They must have seen what happened and followed us down, where they rang for an ambulance, and I was airlifted to hospital. I'd broken my pelvis and shattered my teeth.
I
broke my I broke my spine in 2 places and suffered a spinal cord injury. That was why I couldn't move the lower half of my body. Yeah. But on the outside, I barely even had scratches.
Huh.
I can't remember it because I was on such strong painkillers at the time, but during my first week in hospital, I was telling the doctors and nurses to kill me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. My mom and sisters had flown over, and the consultants told us I was a paraplegic and was unlikely ever to walk again.
Yeah.
I was beside myself. I didn't know how I would cope living life in a wheelchair. When I came off the painkillers, my attitude started to change. I was still devastated, but at the same time, I thought, this is what I've got to deal with. I'll find a way to make it work. I didn't have a choice. I was just going to have to do what I had to do and get through it. After a month in hospital in Switzerland, I was allowed to fly back to Sydney with my family, where I stayed on the spinal ward of a hospital for another 3 months. I did physio every day to try to improve what little movement I had. And somehow, very slowly, I started to see progression. Over the course of the following year, I began to be able to move my feet, and then my knees, and eventually my legs.
What?
I couldn't believe it. I stayed positive and began walking with a walking frame, and it all went from there. Soon I was walking with 2 crutches, then just one, and miraculously one day, with the physios right behind me, I took my first steps on my own. Everyone on the ward was there watching me, and we were all just shocked. I don't know how or why I learned to walk again. I think it was just a mixture of luck and determination. The lasting effects of my accident are permanent. I walk with a limp. Some of my muscles still don't work. I don't have feeling from below the level of injury. I can't feel my legs, my pelvic region. I get tired easily. But the biggest change I've had to adapt to is my loss of bladder and bowel control. I have to use catheters to pee because I can't make myself go at all, and I have a lot of accidents. It took a long time to get comfortable with, but I've got used to it now. And it's just become the new normal. All my friends and family know, and I pretty much tell people within about 5 minutes of meeting them. If I was embarrassed about it, I can't imagine how hard it would be to live. Day to day, I can go 10 times a day peeing myself. I've never been ashamed of it. It's just something I have to live with, so I started being open about it online. And the response I've gotten has been amazing. That's wonderful. Skip this. I've had to grow up fast over the past 4 years. So this was 4 years ago. I had originally planned to go on my big holiday around Europe and then come home, go to uni and get a job. But when I came back, everything changed. I couldn't work. My whole life was about recovery, going to physio and getting better. I lost a lot of friends in that time. It sucked, but in hindsight, it was good to see who would be there in a hard time and who wouldn't. One of the main things that has changed is the way I view my body. I used to think of it as an object, something you look at for physical appearance only. But now I think about how my legs can take me from place to place and how my arms enable me write and draw. I think of all the things our bodies do for us rather than just how they look. I don't really let the little things bother me anymore. I feel a lot calmer and happier, and everything seems a lot clearer, like nothing really matters. I remember so clearly thinking in the hospital how I had a choice. I could either dwell on all the things that I lost, that I can't run or feel my legs anymore. I could just think of all the things that I still had. I still have my arms. I still have my eyesight. I can still do so much. And that's incredibly lucky considering I could so easily have lost my life.
Holy shit. Wow, that's extremely admirable, her attitude. Even when she came off the painkillers and was like, well, this is what I got to do. I cannot say I would have the same attitude. That's extremely impressive.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's, she just decided I've got to live because this is what I've got.
Oh. Well, that was horrifying, but fascinating.
That's what I bring.
I know. I love it. And we'll be back right after this.
Great.
Fall is here, and if you want to sleep in the coziest bed imaginable, you have to start with Boll & Branch's best-selling 100% organic cotton sheets. You'll spend every night wrapped in buttery, breathable softness and feel your sheets get even softer with every wash. Discover the difference with Boll & Branch's 30-night guarantee. Plus, get 15% off and free shipping on your first set of sheets. Visit bollandbranch.com and use code WONDERY15. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Canva presents your work horoscope for this week. Deadlines are in retrograde, which we all know can bring some intense energy. Our advice: fend off this forecast with Canva. Like Canva whiteboards to counter creative blocks, and Canva docs for clarity in communications. If you have any sales deals coming through, results will be in your favor with Canva presentations, manifesting many wins for you. It's a great week to love your work at canva.com.
Welcome back to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine. Danielle.
Kristine.
Tell me something I don't know about you.
Oh my God. Do you know about my fear of rats?
Do you want to see a cute picture of a rat?
No.
My son,
I think I've made it pretty clear I don't.
My son said, wouldn't it be funny if you sent a video of Danielle of a bunch of rats?
That's hilarious.
That's what you should
Tell
do.
him to stick to cooking and not comedy, because that sounds horrible.
I'll tell him.
All right.
Do you know that there's more rats in Los Angeles than in New York?
Is that true?
That is true.
Okay, well, let me.
They're mostly at my house, I think, most of them.
All right, we'll get into.
Do you have to deal with rats?
They live in the palm trees. Those beautiful palm trees that you see on the palm-lined drives on Beverly Hills and that they show, filled with rats.
Is that true?
Filled with rats. God's truth.
Are they Egyptian rats? Because the palm trees, are from Egypt.
I know
they are not
from
native
here.
to
Yeah.
California.
They're Norwegian rats in Egyptian palm trees.
Oh, that is a fish out of water story.
Yes.
Or a rat out of water story.
It's a Benetton, a United Nations city.
Just in your tree.
Danielle seems to think, well, I know we should introduce the guest, but Danielle seems to think, I don't know, that she doesn't have rats where she lives, but I'm like, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. Yeah, I said I've seen a couple of rats near my house, but they're not. I don't have ivy, so they're not like, circulating around the house 24 hours a day.
Are you saying I just need to rip out all my ivy?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes,
Doesn't
that's
it just be
exactly what I'm
dirt?
saying.
I do want to get rid of the ivy. I hate it.
One time we opened our
Okay, wait. Let me
barbecue-
introduce you. Hold on.
No,
a second.
I don't want. I want to say this
All right, okay.
pre-introduction.
All right. Say, okay.
One time I was going to go barbecue some veggie burgers, probably, and went to the backyard and opened the barbecuer. There was a rat sitting right in it, and he hissed at me like, and then scampered off. And I looked I hadn't used the barbecue in a couple of weeks, and it was just filled with rat turds. So I had to clean out a rat turd infested barbecue nest.
And so where do you live now? All right. On the first half of our show, we talked about free falling from a parachute. And now we are talking about the free-for-all of New York in the 80s with Rainn Wilson.
Nice.
Are you kidding me?
Danielle.
Come on.
Was that a good transition or
God.
what?
That use of, because I heard Kristine pitch that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure how it was going to work, and you just
I just
landed
fucking
it.
took it
You
and I just
stuck the landing.
Yeah, like God with a clump of sand. Is that what he
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
people out of? A clump
She
of sand?
takes my
Clay?
mess,
Yeah.
and she's like a master
right.
sculptor.
Free fall to free for all was
Yeah.
just deftly.
Thank you.
Deftly
Beautiful.
done.
Well, of course you know Rainn from The Office, and of course you know him from a little podcast called Terry Carnation.
Dark Air
with
with
Terry
Carnation.
Carnation that I wrote on, and that's how I met Rainn. But he also has a couple of new projects. He's got a book out called Soul Boom, Why We Need a Spiritual Revolution. Pretty clear why we need one, I think.
Yeah.
The evidence is out there.
Yeah.
The world's a mess,
The
kind
world's
of.
a freaking disaster. And you have a TV show on Peacock called Rainn Wilson and the Geography of Bliss. Is that the same sort? What is? I don't know what the show is. Tell me what the show is.
The show is, thanks for doing your research.
This is not an interview show. All we do our research on is things like rats, falling parachutes.
In New York in the 80s.
That is, yeah.
Rainn Wilson, the Geography of Bliss is where I go around the world, and instead of sampling delicious foods, I'm looking for happiness.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And what brings us joy, and then learning myself and also bringing what I find on the road back home to the viewer.
I love
That's
that.
so lovely.
I'm excited to watch that, and I have
Yeah.
Peacock, so I can watch it. Yay!
Yay!
Has it started?
Yeah, it just dropped 2 weeks ago on Peacock.
Oh, I'm very excited to watch
Yeah.
this. Your story takes us to New York
Yes, it does.
in the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not from New York.
I'm from suburban Seattle.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So suburban Seattle kid moves to New York to try and become an actor in 1986.
All right.
And it's interesting because now in 2023, I can't believe how long ago that was. Oh my God. It was such a different city. So, when you told me about your show and I was thinking about what I have survived, and it's like, what's the hardest stuff that I survived? And it's like, I survived New York in the late 80s. I survived New York when it was in a free fall and it was
Nice.
a free for all. And it was, let's not forget that in the late 70s, New York City went bankrupt. And it was the first major American city that went into bankruptcy, literally.
That's wild.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was 76 or 77, something like that.
Is that Koch? Or is Koch later?
No. Ed Koch was... when I moved to New York City, it was Ed Koch years.
Got it.
So I was there, and Ed Koch would walk around at public events, and he would literally say, "How am I doing? How am I doing?" I'm not kidding.
Like you saw him in person?
It was like a sketch from like 30 Rock or like Vice or something like that. But he was like, "How am I doing? How am I doing?" I went and saw some concert in Central Park, and he literally went through, "How am I doing? How am I doing?" It was like Rodney Dangerfield. I also saw Rodney Dangerfield in the late 80s walking up to his comedy club called Dangerfield's on like 1st or 2nd Avenue. And I was taking the bus and he was walking down the road and he was like he was on stage. It was like, it's what actors should, it's how I should be from playing Dwight. I should walk down the sidewalk and be like, "Bears beats Battlestar Galactica." Fact. Beats. Question. Beats. And just like be saying that to people. But Rodney Dangerfield was walking down the street going like, he wasn't saying, "How am I doing?" But he was like, "Hey, how's it going? Hey, how are ya? How are ya?"
Yeah.
No respect. No. Yeah, he said.
Out his catchphrase.
He threw out his catchphrase.
But I love that because he was sort of a sad figure. He got fame very, very late in life. And I don't...
Remember Rappin' Rodney?
Of course.
Yeah.
Do you remember Rappin' Rodney, Kristine?
I don't. I remember him from movies, but I don't remember this specific.
There was a song... "What's the matter, Rodney? No respect. No respect." It was on the radio.
No, it was a top
terrible.
10 hit.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I know you're too young, Garen.
I remember the Eddie Murphy hit because he had. I had his cassette tape.
Yeah.
Where he had like actual
Up your
hit
butt?
music.
My girl likes to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time.
And it was like people were taking him seriously as a legitimate musician.
Well, he really suffered from that syndrome of musicians want to be actors want to be musicians thing. And he has a good voice, but no one was asking for that.
They were like, just keep telling jokes. I don't remember Rodney's though.
It's hideous.
Wow.
I mean, it's
classic. It's great.
It's like the curly shuffle. It's it's a, what is it called? A not camp, but
I'm imagining the video is at a swimming pool with a lot of women in bikinis,
probably
and high heels, a lot of big hair.
Yeah,
some of that.
It was probably like back to school. Yeah. Novelty. It was a novelty song.
Yeah.
Okay. It was like, where's the beef?
Right.
Around that time.
So late 80s, when I moved to New York City, let me paint a little bit of a picture. It had been bankrupt. The city had been bankrupt. Then there was the cocaine years.
Yeah.
Let's not forget.
Your cocaine years or the city?
Well, putting that aside, I had more like cocaine months, but that's a different topic.
Good.
So, but from like 80-ish, 81 to like 85, 86, right in there that's the whole like, whenever you watch a show about cocaine and stuff, like those were the years.
Yeah.
It was getting brought in by Colombians and through Miami and on barges, and it was just
everywhere.
There were piles of it at all of the clubs, and everyone was snorting their way to a new tomorrow,
Yeah.
And I was too broke to ever do cocaine. Well, I did some later on when I dated a coke dealer, but that's another.
I mean, you might as well get the benefit of dating a coke dealer.
So that's the perks, right? What are the benefits of being married to a
comic?
A comic.
I get to use the studio.
I like it. Good.
I have a funny kid.
But you do have an adorable kid. I'd like to hang with your kid sometime, and don't take that in the wrong way.
No, I don't take it in the. I think he would genuinely enjoy hanging out with you, and perhaps vice versa.
Yeah, I think so. So there were subway tokens. So you'd have to, when you'd ride the subway, you'd buy a little plastic pack of 10 tokens, and then the subways were covered in graffiti, right? So they weren't all cleaned up till later on. Everything. Dinkins, I was there in Koch, and then there was Dinkins, and he wasn't a very good or effective mayor. And then Giuliani came in, and people forget that, like in the 90s, Giuliani presided over the total transformation of New York City into a much more safe, vibrant, and more livable place before he became a raving lunatic and idiot
Fascist.
Idiot fascist. But he actually was really lauded for turning the city around. Now, how much did he actually have to do with that? I don't know. Was it just kind of right place, right time? I mean, all cities go through a lot of different ups and downs. It isn't necessarily the president or the mayor, right? So,
but that transformation, being an outsider, I mean, I live in LA, but that transformation of what my images of, Dog Day Afternoon New York and then present day New York is so extreme. The Disneyfication of New York, I guess they call time, or the Disneyfication of Times Square or whatever. And I know some people resent it that it's that much different, but it is such a hugely different.
When I moved to New York City, Times Square was like Taxi Driver.
Right.
It was burlesque houses. It was dope addicts in the gutter.
So was it a huge culture shock coming from Seattle?
Huge.
I bet.
Huge.
Were you? I mean, you were really young. Were you scared?
I was 20 years old. I had lived a little bit in suburban Chicago. I'd done a year of college in Boston, but that was kind of rarefied. And all of a sudden, 1986, here I am living in Greenwich Village. And it was a free for all, as we were saying. And so it was a pretty crazy time. I saw some really messed up stuff. And like I said, cities have their ups and downs. Right now, New York is back in a down swing. There's a lot more crime these days, and there's fentanyl issues and homelessness issues, and it's pretty bad. People are pretty fed up in New York. Most of my friends that are living there, but it was pretty crazy in the 80s, and I survived it. I was attacked several times.
Physically attacked.
Yeah, I was. I lived to save money. I found with a friend an apartment in East Harlem, which is Spanish Harlem. And it was on the verge of being gentrified, but it was definitely like crack epidemic.
Whoa.
Pre-gentrification. And that was the other thing that I wanted to mention. So we went from bankruptcy to cocaine to then the crack epidemic.
Yeah.
Then they're like, let's figure out a way to make cocaine in a factory and make it like 1/10 of the price.
Yeah, right.
And we can just spread it out on the street. So it was the first of the drug like epidemics before opioids and now fentanyl and stuff like that, where you'd get these cheap rocks, they would call them, and you'd see crack pipes on the street everywhere you'd walk. Not everywhere, but in Central Park or down dark streets, there would be broken crack pipes everywhere. So crushed glass was part of the cityscape.
You have to
keep your
the
shoes
life
on.
seriously when there's glass everywhere. I lived in New York in 1991, and just for a year, and I do remember seeing crack pipes on the ground and going, "Oh, that's a crack pipe. Got it."
There were a lot of them. Yeah. But so our apartment was broken into, and a bunch of stuff was stolen. One time I bought a car because I bought it for like $300 and I was going to fix it up. So I just wanted a car, and I bought this car, and it was just a big Chevy piece of junk car, and I parked it in front of my apartment in East Harlem, and I came out in the morning, literally the next morning, and it was up on blocks.
Wow.
It was on cinder blocks, and it had been completely stripped from top to bottom. The tires were gone.
God.
The engine, the hood was open, all the the battery was stolen, the cables had been ripped out, the interior, they had smashed a window, taken the crappy radio.
Right.
Anything they could get
anything. A crowbar that here's a crowbar that probably cost $3.
Yeah.
I mean, not a crowbar, a tire iron. And I was just like, well, that's that. And I just left it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
And it sat there. I'm not kidding you. It sat there for 6 weeks.
Wow.
I wasn't going to call a tow truck because I wasn't going to pay for it.
Right.
Like, well, the city will just pay. And I hadn't registered it yet. So,
so you didn't have. Okay.
So the
There's
VIN number
no
wasn't under
paperwork.
my name. So I was like, I just counted it as a loss.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
Yeah.
you. These times where you were attacked.
Yeah.
So you're a tall guy.
Yeah. I wasn't.
How were you?
I'm a tall, beefy guy now. Back then, I was a tall beanpole guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still.
But so I was in the neighborhood. The first time I was attacked, I was in that neighborhood in East Harlem. We lived on 103rd and First Avenue. And I would it was 105th and First Avenue. And my girlfriend was living there with me and my friend John. And she would get off work and she would call me and say, I'm getting off work, I'm going to go get on the subway. And then I would walk to the subway and then walk her back home, right?
Smart.
So I went, and as I was walking to go meet her at the subway, there was a gang of kids, about 18 of them.
Oh, my God.
All about 12 to 16 years old, very young,
Yeah.
like your son's
Jesus.
ages.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were just running around what they called wilding.
Oh,
back
I
then.
do remember that. Yeah.
And I went down in the subway, and they took a homeless guy, and they threw him on the subway tracks.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
And he just missed like the third rail, and I witnessed this.
Oh my God.
And then there's the MTA employee in the subway booth, just like, I don't even know if she like called the cops or anything.
Yeah.
She just like was witness to this.
Just another day for her.
And they were running around, and then they would run by someone, and they'd just start hitting them with stuff and throwing bottles at people.
God,
And
it's like Clockwork Orange.
it really was. And then there I am, and I'm kind of hiding, and then sure enough, the train comes in, and there comes my girlfriend, and my friend John happened to be with her that night, and they get off, and they're like, "Hi." And I'm like, shit, what do I do? And like, it looked like the kids had run off. So I was like, I'm not going to tell them about this gang.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to just freak them out. You know, maybe I'll tell them later, but let's just get out of here. I'm like, hey, let's go. And we walked up the stairs, and sure enough, at the top of the stairs, there was the gang of kids. And my girlfriend was Chinese New Zealander.
Okay.
And my friend John was Mexican American. And me, I was this tall, 6 foot tall white beanpole in East Harlem. And we walked through them, and it was silent. And I was like, oh fuck.
No.
And we walked down the road, and then sure enough, I was like, come on, please, God, let us go through. Maybe they'll leave us alone. Maybe we stick out too much, and they'll just leave us alone. And no, I heard footsteps coming up behind. And I was like, oh shit! And then wham! I got hit in the back of the head with a stick.
Oh.
The kid had a big meaty stick.
Wow.
And to this day, I'm so grateful that it wasn't a pipe, because
Yeah.
I would be dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they swung my friend John around and started punching him. 2 or 3 guys started punching him. They left my girlfriend Catherine alone. And I just was like, run! And I just took off down the street because I had seen what they had done. And they were kind of chasing me, throwing bottles. And there happened to be a cop car right there.
Oh.
There just happened to be on 2nd Avenue, a cop car in front of a bodega. And I ran up and knocked on the door, opened it. We all piled in. They gave chase, and the kids just scattered. They just disappeared.
So it wasn't even that they were trying to get your money necessarily.
No, they were just out
to be violent.
mix shit up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So
crazy.
we moved out as quickly as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that was part one. And should I go through my?
Sure. Well,
or
I want
Do we
to.
want to talk about how we survived this?
Yeah. I also want to know if you did. You said earlier that you did some theater. Did you do theater there at this time?
I was going to NYU at the time.
Oh, you were a student.
I was a student at NYU.
Why weren't you living on campus? Too expensive. No.
The campus was I started living on campus, and it was really expensive. And part of the reason we moved up there was it was cheap. I was paying like $300 for my bedroom. We had it was a 2-bedroom, and we were each paying like $300 or $400.
Oh, so you had to constantly be on the subway
Yeah.
because it's.
Yeah, but it wasn't that bad. It's the same subway. It's the 6. So I took it all the way from 103rd down to Astor Place, and I was at NYU, and it was 25 minutes. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah. No, I just meant that there's danger lurking on every car and everything.
Yeah. The subway, oddly, was not that dangerous back then, although I did see a guy pull a big meat cleaver out once.
It's like Van Nuys.
Yes, exactly.
And it's interesting because nowadays, if something like that happened to someone, you'd be like, oh my God, you're so traumatized.
Right.
We need to get you into therapy.
Yeah.
Right.
And you need to do EMDR. And you have to process this.
Yes.
Right.
But back then,
It was par for the course.
It was just like, yeah, people get attacked, people get mugged, deal with it, move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to go like right back the next morning to acting class, and I remember my head hurting for days.
Yeah.
God.
I didn't even go get checked for a concussion or anything. And I had to go like act and sing and dance
Right.
and do Alexander technique and clowning and,
Circle in the square.
after being like almost killed on
Yeah,
the street,
yeah.
Use it.
I was just going to say that.
So do you, this is the question. Do you tell your parents that this happened?
Oh, yeah, I told.
Oh, you
told them.
did?
Yeah.
And were they like, get on a plane right now? Or were they just like,
My parents were pretty checked out at that point. They're like, oh, that's too bad.
oh no.
This was the opposite of helicopter parenting
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
So,
Hands off.
nowadays, like if you all were the moms, you'd have flown in
Yes.
that night. Oh my God, and you would have hugged your children
Yeah.
and held
Flown
them
in.
close.
I live next door.
You're in the dorm room next door, right?
Here's your hot cocoa. Let's let's stream some Netflix. But yeah, so it was trauma wasn't really talked about, and I've in talking about my book Soul Boom, I mentioned a little bit in there some mental health issues that I had in the 90s, and people didn't talk about mental health issues in the 90s, like anxiety. I had anxiety attacks, and I went to the doctor, and he's like, yeah. People, sometimes you get anxiety attacks. This is what happens.
You just live with it.
Yeah, I just live with it. I was depressed and couldn't get out of bed for weeks. And like,
Wow.
you're probably just, you're sad now, And then,
This is your life now.
but the other time I got attacked was then I graduated, and it was it was the summer of 89, and it's the summer of 89.
Classic.
And I was doing Shakespeare in the Park. I had just gotten out of NYU. And I couldn't sleep. And I was living in Chelsea. And Chelsea now became very fabulous
Yes.
in the late 90s, early 2000s. And upscale. Back then, they were selling drugs outside on 16th and 8th Avenue. It was not a great neighborhood. Anyways, I was walking down 7th Avenue, and I saw these guys outside of their car, and I was like, my spidey senses were like, something's up here. And they were kind of scoping, and they were out gay bashing.
Oh,
Wow.
shit.
And they tried to gay bash me. I didn't happen to be gay. I
Right.
didn't talk to them about that. I didn't really care.
They didn't ask for your card?
They didn't ask for my gay card, and I took it as a compliment that they thought I was
Sure.
gay, because gays are better looking,
Better
let's
dressed.
face it, and classier. So, because they called me several gay slurs and started, one guy punched me kind of on the side of the head a couple times, and then I ducked some punches, and then they kind of came after me, and then I just ran, and they got in their car and they chased me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They were really committed.
They were really committed. So I dashed across 14th Street, and then I went the wrong way up a one-way street. I think it was 13th Street, and then I hid under a staircase in an apartment building.
Wow, it's like a movie.
And I just stayed there for 45 minutes. This was at 2 a.m, and I was sweating.
It's terrifying.
And this was just, and then I would tell people about it and be like, oh yeah.
That happened to me.
But were you panicked at that moment? Yeah, you had to be, right?
I was breathing. I was totally adrenalized, just sweating, and it was rough. And I'd gotten punched on the side of the head and stuff, and
Jesus.
But that was the weird thing about it was no one made any kind of big deal about it. You just
Yeah.
I got attacked last night. I got gay bashed. They called me the F word. I don't think you can even say it in that context. And, I got punched, and what are you going to do? And people are like, oh man, that sucks.
Oh, they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's your initiation for living in the city.
Yeah. The other story I'll say is that 1990, we moved out to near past Williamsburg, almost to Brownsville, Brooklyn, and I was living in an abandoned beer brewery because I was broke, guys.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
broke. I was not a trust fund actor at all. I was month to month, hand to mouth. I was constantly just trying to figure out a way to kind of hustle some money and get by.
Did you have normal day jobs as you
I
were
had
trying to act?
Many jobs.
Waiting
yeah,
jobs
I
and
was
stuff
waiting tables. I was catering. I For a while, for a long time, I had a moving van. I was a man with a van.
Oh, nice.
And that worked out pretty well. But my friend John and I, we moved to this abandoned beer brewery out in Brooklyn. And the guy said he was going to fix it up into artist lofts, and he wanted to get some artists living there as he was fixing it up. We realized later, that was a tax write-off. If he had said he had people living there, then he could be spending money and save on taxes or whatever. But we moved in. There were rats everywhere.
Nope.
No heat, and no shower when we first moved in.
Boy.
So it was, essentially we were squatters.
Right.
Yeah.
We were like
Did you pay
legal
rent?
squatters. No, we didn't pay rent.
Oh, okay. So would you go to the Y or something to shower?
I would. I didn't even do that. What I would do is I would pack my shower kit and a towel in my backpack, and I would go. I'm doing air quotes. Visit friends
At NYU?
Yeah, I found out there were showers there was a shower in the basement of NYU that I would go use.
Okay.
And I still had my student ID.
Yeah.
And I did that for a long time. I went to the NYU gym for a while, but I would also swing by.
Yeah.
I remember there was a girl that we were maybe gonna date, kind of. There was some, but I would knock and I'd be like, "Hey, how's it going?" Because this is before texting too, so you would just stop by and say hi and be like, "Oh, hey, I didn't get to take a shower. Do you mind if I was using her for her shower?"
Right.
Essentially. So I used a lot of people for their
Did
showers.
it take her a while to figure that out? We never even have sex, but he showers every time.
He's so clean.
Yeah.
Love this guy. He's so clean.
Yeah, I don't even remember what happened there, but anyways, we couldn't. The front door to the loft had a dog on a chain like Cerebus. And you could get by the dog if you just went along the wall, and he would lunge and he would be a foot and a half away from you.
Oh my God.
And it was like a Doberman Pinscher.
Yeah.
In its
The most terrifying dog.
living in its own poop. And we called animal.
What the fuck?
We called the Humane Society
Yeah.
multiple times
Yeah.
on our own landlord to
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
hey, this is inhumane. And then, so we didn't want to go in that door. So the only other way into our loft was to climb up on an old loading dock door. So you'd scale the side of the building and unlock this door that trucks used to back up to. So it was about 6 or 7 feet above the ground.
Okay.
And we'd go in that way, and it would slide open, right? And one night I had a date, and I was very excited about this date.
Yeah.
And so I put on my best clothes in my dusty, dirty, rat-infested squat, and I went to go open the sliding door, and there were a bunch of, again, New York kids out there.
Oh, no.
And they started throwing bottles. I don't know what it is about throwing bottles, but they started throwing bottles at me.
Oh, my God.
And I think they had even firecrackers, and it was throwing some firecrackers.
Jesus.
And so I couldn't get out of my own loft, but I had this date. And we didn't have cell phones, right? I mean, I had a phone. There was a phone there. We did have a phone, but I don't know. I was like, so it's
either the killer dog or the killer teenagers.
Well, even if I went past the dog, I'd still go out in the front of the building, and they were out there in the front of the building.
You
So
surrounded.
I had to figure out how to get out of the back of the building.
Yeah.
So I went. I scampered my way through this enormous warehouse. I mean, it was an old beer brewery. It was 3 or 4 floors and multiple rooms. We hadn't even explored the whole thing.
my God.
Right.
But the roof was incredible. You could go up to the roof, and the views were insane.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to get to this date. And I made my way out of an old fire door or something like that. And there was a lumber yard. And I slid down a dirt embankment into this lumber yard. And I was walking through the lumber yard. And then there was a security guard. And then the security guard is like, whoa, what's this 22-year-old white kid doing
In a lumberyard.
In the lumberyard, going the wrong way, not trying to break in, but trying to get out. I'm like, how do I get out? And he was just his jaw was open. It was like a movie moment. And I went out the front of the lumberyard, and I went around the long way to the subway, and I went on my date. I forget what happened at that point.
Oh my God.
You probably asked to use her shower.
Wash your clothes.
I needed to use the shower. And it was at that time, I was working at Phoebe's Wine and Dine, which still exists, and I would wait tables till 4 a.m. And it was a combination cop bar and Chinese mafia bar.
Wow.
Okay.
So you'd get these giant tables of Chinese mafia all drinking Hennessy, and Heinekens, and then you'd have cops drinking like Budweiser's more at the bar.
Yeah.
So one night I got tipped in cocaine by the Chinese mafia.
Holy shit.
So I got a little baggie of
Yeah.
cocaine. And so I went downstairs and I did some coke. And it was like on my nose like a cliche movie moment.
Yeah, right.
And I'm walking out and then a couple cops walk in and see me with the coke on my nose. I'm going
Oh my God.
and they kind of are like, all right. Like, I'm in my dumb waiter's uniform.
What are they going to do? The Chinese mafia is right there.
I know. I had the tong behind me.
You're protected.
They had to know.
So then I'd get off work at 4 a.m. and then I'd have to figure out like how am I going to get from there to the abandoned beer brewery?
It just sounds like constant stress.
Constant stress.
Because you're constantly trying to figure out, how do I do this? How do I get a shower? How do I get home safely? How do I...
But no one really talked about stress back then even.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like you just survived.
Right.
Yeah.
People were just surviving,
Yeah.
you know? And so I survived New York in the 80s and the crack epidemic. And then once I started getting some work and it got more into the 90s and cleaned up, then I got actual apartments and with like sheets.
Wow. And toilets?
And toilets and showers, and toiletries, and
You must have been really feeling
coat
so
hangers,
good with
and
those showers.
Wow.
yeah. But it was a rough couple years.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
Do you ever think like those people see you on TV and are like, "Oh, I used to beat that guy up."
I almost gave that guy
that's the guy I was gay bashing on 7th
Guess
Avenue.
he's not gay.
I hit him in the side of the head.
I thought I killed him. Huh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think I know why he's chasing bliss now.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were being
Yeah.
chased
Yes.
by teenagers and now you're chasing bliss.
Yeah.
See? I did it again.
But I survived, and look at me now, America.
Look at you.
Yeah. Thriving.
Thriving
Not
even.
only surviving, you're thriving.
That's
Thank
right.
you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming and
Right?
telling. This was fantastic.
Good.
so
Yes.
many good stories.
I hope this was good. I
was
actually,
perfect.
I told some of these stories in my book, The Bassoon King, my comedic memoir, but I haven't been able to like really go into depth. This is the first time.
Oh, good.
First time I've gone really into
Exclusive.
depths on some of these crazy misadventures of the late 80s.
You should have your son listen to this so that when he goes off to college, he knows how good he has it.
Or so he knows to look for that brewery.
Yeah.
Cheap rent.
Oh, my dad used to live here.
Oh, you know it's so fancy now.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know it.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's
like artists' little like.
Oh yeah, Billy Corgan is living there. Like, you know
He's
what I mean?
insufferable, right?
And he's got a wine
Farm to
basement
table.
or something.
Oh yeah, it's like a farm to table restaurant,
Yeah.
and you got to
Yeah.
wait like 2 years to get a table,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you
Right.
can't. Oh, we're not getting a table there.
No.
CBD bagels. So, you guys, thanks for having me
That
on
was
your
awesome.
incredible show.
Thank
Wishing
you.
the very best
Thanks
with
so
it.
much.
Thank you so
and
much.
wow, this was such a delightful conversation.
It was fantastic. And we will be right back with What Did We Learn Today?
Want to teach your kids financial literacy, but not sure where to start? Greenlight can help. With Greenlight, parents can keep an eye on kids' spending and saving, while kids and teens use a card of their own to build money confidence. As a parent, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and more. It's a convenient way to run your household, customized to your family's needs, and the easy way to raise financially smart kids. Get started with Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This episode is sponsored by AutoTrader. There's a good chance you're driving right now. Look around. Safely. What do you see? Cars. Lots of them. And guess what? They're probably on AutoTrader. Whether you're into timeless classics or the latest trends. Did somebody say solar-powered, eco-friendly, vegan, leather-wrapped, aromatherapy-scented, disco ball-equipped self-driving car? If you see it on the road, you can likely find it on AutoTrader. Big cars, small cars, blue cars, new cars, used cars, electric cars, and one day, maybe even flying cars. With millions to choose from, buying a car becomes a whole lot easier. See it, find it, AutoTrader. Find your next car on autotrader.com.
Kristine.
Yes.
Are you ready to learn what we learned today?
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa.
We're going to learn a lot.
Yeah. Holy shit. Okay. Rats only have 4 fingers on each front paw and lack opposable thumbs. Can you imagine how fucking scary they would be if they had opposable thumbs?
Wait till you read the next line.
They do have little thumb-like nubbins, however. And the muscles in their palms help grip their food.
Oh, that's cute. Sorry.
I don't like the word nubbins.
Nubbins.
I don't like that.
Come here, Nubbins. That's a good nickname for somebody you love.
Plant ivy, palm trees, juniper bushes, and cypress trees attract rats. These plants and trees make wonderful homes for them. Oh, good for them. Data provided by the United States Parachute Association indicates that the total number of jumps or dives made in 2021 came to 3.57 million. Wow.
That's a lot.
Yes. When in doubt, whip it out. Famous stand-up comedians excluded. Thank you for that, Garen. Spread your legs and arch your back. Happy Pride, everybody.
Nice, Karen. He's been drinking his Celsius.
Yeah. When falling thousands of feet to your almost certain death, clear your mind.
Best time to do it.
When falling, you can steer yourself if you can remember how to do it. Good luck. Don't forget to add get strangled by shoe cords to your list of ways to die while skydiving. Here's a good factoid. 1986 was 37 years ago.
I don't agree to that.
I think it's wrong information.
I don't agree to that at all.
All right, this is what we need. This is what we do. What did I learn today for? Rappin' Rodney is a comedy album by American comedian Rodney Dangerfield, issued by RCA Records in 1983. Aside from the song, the rest of the album consists of live stand-up comedy under the titles Rodney Rappin' and Rodney Continues Rappin'. Recorded live at Catch a Rising Star in New York City. The song peaked at number 83 on Billboard's Hot 100 chart. It soon earned Dangerfield a nomination for the Grammy Award for Best Comedy Recording. The song or the album?
I guess the album.
I did not realize that the song was from an album. That makes much more sense.
Yeah.
They just recorded it for airplay, which is what I had assumed.
Guys, it's sad that we're going to be away from each other for a brief time. It's not sad for our audience because they aren't going to know.
Right.
Assuming everything goes according to plan.
Yes, we will have episodes every week and the bonus episodes.
So you guys are not going to notice.
Right.
But
we'll let you know when we're live again. I mean, not live, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Contemporary.
You'll know when we're back because we'll be like, we're back.
Yeah.
And then you guys will be like, wait. We never missed you.
We never missed you. What
Give
are you
us a chance
about?
to miss you.
Right.
It is weird, like time travel-y.
It is. We're time traveling this summer.
Yeah.
That's what we're
doing.
doing.
A little time traveling.
Future right now.
That's right.
But the good news is we're going to collect so many interesting stories.
Yes. And so you won't have to hear about rats again.
Yeah.
From me.
They're not going to probably involve rats.
Hopefully. Although I am going to New York, so who knows?
You might collect some rat stories for us.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to go visit that brewery. See what it's like now. Get the info from Rainn.
Yeah, I'll see where Rainn lived.
So then you can see and you can tell him what it is now.
Yeah.
And Garen's going to just have some really epic, partying adventures.
Yeah.
He's going to get out of his place.
Yeah.
He's going to...
Maybe start...
Piles and piles of cocaine.
He's going to do piles. He's going to smoke cocaine.
I was going to suggest exercise. But maybe either way. I just meant maybe
what about
you could
both?
get into a good habit.
That's a good idea.
Hike
either way
and smoke cocaine.
Yes.
At the same time.
That's how well we'll be able to hike.
Yeah.
Yes,
you'll get the
you'll have
energy.
so much energy.
Celsius just doesn't get it anymore. So you got to...
It really doesn't.
It's
flavor only at this point.
Try the hard drugs.
Yeah.
So,
Needles, here I come.
Well, what we want from you, Garen, is we want you to live out loud.
Oh.
This sounds like something that Elizabeth Gilbert would say, right?
Is she the Eat, Pray, Love lady?
Yeah, but she wrote a book called Big Magic. I think that's what it's called. And it's very inspirational and it's very you got to live your life kind of stuff. I actually find it delightful.
Oh, is it good?
It is good. I'm going to bring it in for you.
All right.
But I want you to live out loud, Garen. Okay? Please.
Live like you have to come back and tell stories out loud.
Live like you survived a parachute crash.
Yes.
And a man fell on top of you.
Ooh.
Oh.
Cute. Meet cute.
Meet cute. You both survived with a lot of injuries.
I thought he was dead, but really, he was more alive than I could ever imagine.
Me.
It's not the cord.
It turns into a porn.
Wow. Yep. Okay.
Did you guys ever watch this documentary Dogs?
No.
On Netflix? Mm-mm. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Every episode is like about a special dog. It's really magical.
You mean a special breed or a special specific dog?
Both.
Okay.
One of them is like about this dog they train. They train these breeds of dogs to help people who have different kinds of
epilepsy.
Yeah. They give the dog to this girl who has a seizure disorder, and it's hard for her to control her seizures. And she gets it's a big like labradoodle. And then this other episode is about this dog that every morning goes out on the Lake Como, and fishes with his owner every morning really early. And then they come back with their catch and they cook it at the restaurant that night. And then the dog is in the restaurant.
So cute.
We're going to go to that restaurant.
Are you really?
Yeah. I don't know if the dog's still alive because the documentary is from like 2018 and the dog was kind of old then.
Is it supposed to be a good restaurant?
The dog's name is Ice, and he's like a lab, like a yellow lab. And he sits in the restaurant. And it's supposed to be a really good restaurant. Like they hand make all their own pasta. And so I was like, we have to go there.
Can you do, this might be asking too much. Is there something where Benjamin can like take a cooking class in Italy or something?
That's what I'm gonna, if we can stay like a couple days, I'm gonna try to do something like that since he's so into like making his own pasta and stuff.
Yeah.
And we weren't even supposed to go to Italy, but when I looked at the route back, because it's like, 20 hours coming back, we can take a little bit longer coming back and go through Italy. And I was like, if we're going to go through Italy.
Oh, wait, you're driving?
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of taking the train, spend just
I've seen a lot of movies where detours like that go horribly awry.
Do you think ever with us things would go horribly awry?
No.
You don't know what kind of hill people you're going to run into. So don't get out of the car.
Italian hill people.
Well, if there are Italian hill people, we will find them.
Yeah, you will.
Come on and have some spaghetti.
We will find them.
Oh my gosh.
So the goal is that this is going to be great.
I think it's going to be fabulous.
But you guys know how
Something
it is.
might happen. Do you have what do you do about health insurance when you're going overseas?
I think our health insurance covers us, but also Germany luckily covers Sven and the kids.
Oh, because they're Germans.
They're German. They have German citizenship. I, however, am fucked. So let's hope it's not me who gets hurt.
Can you get dual citizenship since you're married?
It doesn't work that way. It's hard to get German citizenship. They don't want you. They really are like, we're good.
So the kids have it only because their father was born there?
Yeah. So they have it through birthright citizenship.
So will their kids be able to have it?
That I don't know.
Just curious.
Is the world still going to be around then?
No.
Okay. So we don't have to worry.
Good. I see my point.
Yes.
Well, have a lovely summer, everyone, or hope you're having a lovely summer.
We're all going to be checking in online and posting photos. Not like gross photos of like, look at me in Italy.
Yeah.
Not that shit.
No.
But just like, we want to see you guys and keep connecting with you. And anyway, you're not going to know. So...
This is very surreal.
It is.
So until next time.
Until next week. Remain calm.